it happened yesterday that a friend on Twitter told me, "Hey, Arnie, you have been mentioned by the Bear Cave." I was like, "Really?" Because the Bear Cave is one of the biggest short-selling Substack with 45,000 subscribers.
But I didn't realize they actually mentioned you in the short in the
They
short report. Did they?
Yes, because they
No
said,
way.
well, Palantir is an AI imposter that basically pretends to do fancy stuff with AI, but the reality is just they are a miserable, overhyped data consultant. And they say the retail investor hype around Palantir is hard to miss. One Palantir investor launched Palantir Bullets, a newsletter created to provide investors with knowledge and tools to spot asymmetries between narrative and reality on Palantir. And I was, oh, I know this Palantir Bullets.
Nice. That's epic. That's great PR for you though. So have you read the full bull report? The short report.
I read the full report. I paid to get the article. Well, I consider it basically as an investment, but as we said before, I was so mentally drained yesterday that I said, okay, this could be an important video. I want to make it well. And what to say? I admire the courage of people, especially when they have such a big following, 45,000 people reading this, and you go so strong without having the knowledge. Because I love criticism, I do hate false allegations, especially when basically there is nothing new. What this report said: problems at Palantir. What are the problems of Palantir? Basically, that Palantir sells itself as an AI company while they say they are a glorified consultancy company. And consultancy company is basically one of the earliest things that people inside the community were discussing about, because there was a true problem back then. Basically, you had the feeling that, hey, this company is actually cool, but the numbers are very weak. The processes seem too long. From what you can find online, there were many people saying, okay, but if this is a consultancy. So it was not really clear. The way they presented information was not clear at all. So I even was very, very suspicious, because even if they presented videos, presentations where the output was clearly software, the numbers were not good. The feedbacks online was, okay, but if you're a software company, why you don't provide a scalable solution? Why you have so many people doing stuff? So the criticism is actually legit, but shows a very deep lack of understanding of a business. That's actually the biggest thing of Palantir. Palantir is one of the most difficult companies I've ever encountered with. In my experience as a former equity analyst, and I can say confidently that I analyzed more than 1,000 companies overall. And understanding Palantir, not only from a product standpoint, how the numbers work, require a lot of effort. And I'll tell you, in order to make a good short report, you need to understand the company very deeply. This is a report that probably took 10 minutes of research. I think if you spent more than 10 minutes of research, let's say 15 minutes of research, you would have had at least that feeling, okay, but how it is possible that a consultancy business has 80% gross margin when Accenture, the biggest IT company in consultancy, has 15%? Wait, maybe there's an accounting fraud, but that's another topic. So very small and simple details could have already denied one of the biggest allegations. And another topic is, okay, but if this is a consultancy, how come the software is actually used by Ukraine? How come that you have literally in that moment the CEOs of some of the biggest US companies basically sharing how Palantir software, not consultancy, helped them unlock critical value? So I don't know. When I saw this, I had the feeling, okay, someone paid to just try to kill the stock, because I didn't see any substance with that. The second topic is a topic we discussed very much in detail during the last year. Is literally 1 year that we were talking about SPACs. Do you remember there was a huge debate during the summer last year, and then again when the stock was tanking, Bloomberg or another, it was the New Street Journal, so it doesn't matter. They came out with, well, the SPACs, how Palantir basically bought the revenues by forcing companies to pay them for the software in change of an investment. And say, okay, I mean, what's the news? Like, we have been literally talking about that for months. But this, on the other hand, should not surprise us, because you have further proof that us as retail investors are spotting things way faster. We have an iteration and a feedback loop of information that are digested, presented, contested, that is way faster than how the Wall Street machine works. And that's actually the opportunity I saw. So I'm not only deeply passionate about the company mission, how the business works, but I also saw the opportunity as an investor to actually exploit this huge asymmetry between what the reality I saw emerging and what the Wall Street group as a crowd was seeing. I had many discussions even with SaaS experts. SaaS experts that also Karp mentioned, hey, if we actually listen to what expert told us to do, we would be dead. And in the same way, I tried to stimulate conversations with these SaaS experts, and many of them like, oh, no, consultancy. I was like, okay, but tell me again. Please tell me how a consultancy company has 80% gross margin, can develop a product like Meta Constellation that is not an effing PowerPoint, but has been actually used by Ukrainians to target enemies. And when you make these hard questions, people stop answering. That to me is a signal. People have these dogmas. I think many of us, having done the research, could see these. So if we are not scared by all the BS around, and I think we saw it very clearly during this winter when the stock was tanking heavily in December, that suddenly everything became so negative. Do you remember? People then were getting angry at me because, oh, Palantir has stock-based compensation. I've been discussing about stock-based compensation for 2 years now.